Hey, it's Mrs. Perry bringing you another reading lesson. So come on in and let's take a look at what you'll be learning today. Today, you'll learn how to determine the central idea of a story. If you remember last week's episode, you learned how to determine the key details of a story. In more simpler terms, you learn how to determine the important information in a story. This week is a little different. Instead of looking for the important information or key details, we are going to learn how to determine the central idea of a story. The central idea is the big point or the most important point the author is trying to get you to understand. Typically, in order to find the central idea of a story, basically, I like to ask myself and my students, what big thing or idea does the author want to tell or teach me? The central idea is the main focus or big idea of the story. Okay, let's practice. I'll read a short passage, then we'll work together to determine the central idea or the big idea the author was trying to tell us. Okay? Let's get started. At the playground. A playground is near my house. The playground is where I play. At the playground, I look up. I look up at the sky. I look up at the clouds. At the playground, I slide. I slide down the slide. I slide down to the ground. At the playground, I run. I run on the ground. I run on the grass. I like to play at the playground. All right, let's talk about that passage. Now, as we work to determine the central idea, keep in mind that we have to figure it out by asking ourselves questions about what we read, okay? Now, we know the passage was about being where? Correct, at the playground. Now, I want you to take a second and think about what the author wanted you to know about the playground. And as you're thinking, I'll put a few choices on the screen for you to choose from. If our short passage was about being at the playground, do you think the author wants you to know all the things we can do for fun once we get home? Does the author want us to know some things we can do at the playground? Or does the author want us to know a few things we can do after we've done our homework? If you said the author wants us to know some things we can do at the playground, then you are correct. Yes, the entire passage was about being at the playground, and our character told us a lot of things she liked to do while she's there. Guess what? You just determined the central idea of the passage. It wasn't too hard, was it? Remember, the central idea is the big point the author wants you to understand. And knowing things to do while at the playground is what the author was trying to teach us in this passage. Now, can you recall some activities the little girl likes to do while at the playground? Just yell them out right now. I hope you said run on the grass, slide down the slide, or look up at the clouds. Okay, let's recap today's lesson. So, you learned how to determine the central idea of a story or passage after reading. You also learned the definition of the central idea, which is the big point or the most important thing the author is trying to teach you or get you to understand. We also worked on our recall skills. You didn't even realize I threw that in there, did you? Well, you guys, I think we can call it a day. Lock all this wonderful information in, and I will see you again. But don't move a muscle. Stay tuned for math with Miss Barnes.